That's an egg. Rabbi Feller, this is me trying to hurry up and put together whatever we have. I'm so sorry. It's like kind of thrown together. My husband, he took everything out of the house. So at least the refrigerator. Oh, so do you want an egg and?
Thank you.
You don't like having an egg? I'll make another one. You want your scrambled or fried right now?
Either way, no, both work. It's. I really hurt my wrist.
Oh, it's okay.
You got it?
Yeah.
It's not muted.
It's muted.
It's muted right now, when you're ready.
Are you sure?
I'm muted.
I can double check if you
Yeah,
want.
double check. I need the chickens in the microwave.
No, it's not muted.
I'm just gonna egg my chickens. I don't really want to do them. Here's my egg. It's a good class.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam v'atzos rabo v'chesronan. Hakom asher b'rasah v'ben nefesh kol chai v'olachei. Amen. You can't stop him very easily. 100 times a day you can talk to him and say, thank you, God.
Good evening, Rabbi.
I didn't make it, that you can hear it, he can hear his answer.
Yeah.
Not a monologue, it's a dialogue, but, huh? Okay, that's somebody else.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Good evening, Rabbi.
Good evening. How are you?
Baruch Hashem. Good. Thank God.
Good. How's Ann?
Wonderful as always.
Thank God. Thank God. Thank God.
Thank God. Thank God.
Okay. Yeah.
You wanna lean more back to?
No, this is very good. Thank you.
So it's on the stove. You can
Thank
do
you.
whatever you want, yeah. I'm gonna question.
Is Dr. Shiur going to be on?
He intends to be.
Okay. I see Moshe Lifshitz is on. Oh, it says Michael Shiur.
Time to go to the bank.
Dr. Shiur, you on?
I don't know if it's a real credit union I don't know if it's a real credit union is so either.
Good evening, Rabbi.
Good evening, Dr. Shiur. How are you?
Baruch Hashem, how is the Rabbi?
Baruch Hashem.
11. So, 11. And the 15th is on Tuesday, so I think we should be able to go to the main ceremony. Right?
No, I'm working.
So people are helping them. Oh, you made it?
She was there for like 5 minutes. Oh. You were there?
Good evening, Mike.
So was that? I didn't know. In the kitchen, though. These girls might be there, that's like, you know how like,
Usually brings girls
yeah.
in. Should bring me more girls in?
Yeah, there'll be girls there. Actually, my mom's sometime.
That's so nice. You
know them? Yeah, I do know them.
Your mom's lived in New York?
Yeah. It actually worked out because my aunt didn't really have anyone, so. She was like, so much she asked them.
There was room for them?
Yeah.
You know the guy that was just there? You know what I'm talking about?
It was a delight to see Tzamach Dov last week, Rabbi.
You saw him last week?
Yes. He opened. He was here before you came in, I think. He set up for you.
Tzemach Tov did that?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Girls, how do they know where to work? Were they looking for a place to work?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, they were working, no, so basically what happened was I think they were looking for somewhere to go, and then she texted my mom, and asked her to come to my place. Oh, you put my, Yeah, so she told them, I think, and then they basically, she asked to bring a friend, I think, and then, yeah, I guess,
Wow,
yeah.
that's nice.
What's amazing to me is like, how close your mom is to like fellow family.
Yeah.
You just that was.
She helped out a lot and stuff about us, Yeah.
She kind of is.
Yeah, she is now.
Yeah, that would have like, you know,
Yeah, I'm ready to go. Food poured out. I don't like doing that. And then over how the eggs from the ground, like my hard boiled loaves. Remember last time I put a bunch of money for the restaurant? Yeah, you put in the hard boiled eggs and loaves and you're not even eating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what kind of snack did you have to get at the gas station?
I got corn nuts.
Some corn nuts?
Yeah.
There's a lot of kosher stuff for sure.
Yeah. I haven't got a Slurpee.
Oh yeah, those are kosher.
Some of it, so. I think it has to be like Coca-Cola branded or something. Or, no, not always. There's like a list of what's not.
Well, you get
Coca-Cola
together,
is-
you know.
I haven't eaten in a while. Like comments?
Okay, so the little pretzels, I can't get them from the trial. I mean, doesn't matter.
And what we are.
Okay, but they have, I saw pretzels, they're like peanut butter filled pretzels. And they're OU, they're not OUD. They're OU.
I would eat
Alright,
Some people actually, like, a lot of people will eat probably sell bread when it comes to snacks. They don't really, a lot of people won't. So it really, like, kind of well you're on there. It's like people are extra.
maybe there's levels to work up to.
Yeah.
I was in my school, I told, Angela I was gonna work up the whole of Israel. And then we're here, so I'm like. So I automatically have to jump, but I don't really buy milk that much. Do you buy milk here? And then we can never have ice cream because we're always having meat at night, you know what I'm saying, so that's weird.
Yeah. Weird situation.
Not that, put that much up, so I know that's what it sounds like. You can have the other egg too, I
it. More
mean.
stuff, dude.
Oh,
We're,
no, wait for this off.
we're gonna start with the Parsha Beis, the second Parsha in this week's Sedra is Tzav, first word Tzav B'nai Israel, command Israel about the Kabbalah. Vayikra is a very important chumash. It's called the central chumash because there are two books before it, Bereshit and Shmos, and there are two books after it, Bamidbar and Dvarim. And Vayikra is in the middle. And you know, little kids, when they start to learn, they learn about Vayikra. And the matter that we really don't understand the essential meaning of it was to take an animal and sacrifice it, and that brings about a kapara, an atonement for us. But it does not work unless you verbalize your return. that you're penitent, that you're sorry for what you. This is most offerings are sin offerings. They're not all sin offerings. They're offerings that when a great thing happened to you, you give a korban todah to thank God. There are all kinds of korbanot, and if you really want to study it and put your mind to it, get a good chumash, a stone chumash or archgold chumash, and or there's very good Lubavitcher with the Rebbe's pirush on the on korbanos. But korbanos, hey, the korban itself is very happy. It should you know, it is the korban, if you would ask it, and sometimes great tzaddikim did ask it. There was the situation with Elijah on the Mount Carmel, where he was going to have a showdown with the 415 VA Baal. They would, and this was actually, this was when the base of Midrash was functioning, and you're not allowed to bring karbanos outside of the Yerushalayim, the base of Midrash. So what was Elijah doing in Haifa, which is now where Mount Carmel is? And but there is a din that somebody who is established himself as a prophet in the like Elijah and Elisha and all the prophets that that we don't know, Amos, Isaiah, Cheskel. If people of this stature tell you to do, hey, for just this time, we got to do something. We're dropping the don't. It means you can't sacrifice outside of Yerushalayim for a purpose. And the purpose was that the only place you could get together the 450 Nevi'ei Habal. And the Jews, something we also don't understand, the Jews were, as Eliyahu said to them, why are you treading on both sides? They served God, but they also served the Baal. That was the service of the people that and around them, it became popular. And so wanted to put a stop of once and for all. And so the decision was that the prophets of the Baal, their priests, 450 of them, they would bring a bullock, and Elijah would bring a bullock, and Elijah would be bringing his bullock to as a sacrifice, as an offering to God, and the priests of the Baal would bring their cow, their bullock, as a gift, as an offering to the Baal. And Eliyahu told the priests of Baal, you go first, you are the majority. So you go and see if there will be a visible taking of the offering from Baal. If he sends down there's a visible taking of the korbanot when the Jews brought. I mean, there was 10 different miracles that you could go up to Jerusalem and you'd see. But so the bullock that was to be offered by God, the one that bullock, that cow was very happy. It was going to be offered to God. Now that's how it is incorporated in godliness. It can't say Shema. It can't, proclaim the oneness. There's no animal that is an atheist. They all, those in behaving like one. God gives the bread. They know that it's God who is giving to them. And this is their way that they're becoming attached. In the base of Midrash, that would be a very wonderful thing that every behemoth looks forward. Here is that one is going to be offered to the Baal. It will be slaughtered and put on the on the same altar that Eliyahu will afterwards put his on, and the bullock didn't want to go. Why should she or he, the bullock? Why should it be the one to be given to the Baal? She knows that the animals know the truth. There's one God. And Eliyahu whispered into the animals' ear. You hear me?
Yes.
Eliyahu whispered into the animals' ear that didn't want to go, that just like your friend, your buddy, the other cow, will cause the sanctification of God's name by his being visibly absorbed by God, you will be sanctifying God's name the same level by your not being taken and disproving the vow. When the cow heard that from the chief Navi of Israel, told him that you're going to be sanctifying God's name by you're not being taken. The Baal can't doesn't have the power of sending down a fire from heaven to take you. But so in the outcome, nothing. The priests of the Baal go first, and they do all kinds of things, and they make cuts on their body, and they're screaming to the Baal, and Elijah's making fun of them. I said, maybe you should shout louder to him. Maybe he's sleeping. Maybe he's in the lavatory. He really, that's the one time where we see that humor was entered into a service. And and the whole people, there was masses of Israel who came to see this showdown. And Elijah had no problem because he knew that it was just for a show that cut out the service of the Baal. It's a bunch of BS. The wonder of sacrifice would be anyhow. And so what happens, of course, nothing comes, nothing comes, the bull is not taken. And then the cow that's offered to the bullock that's offered to God by Elijah, and he makes all kinds of things that fire wouldn't take it. He makes water around anyhow. But he prays to God and says, God, please show your people that you are the God, you are the creator. Anyhow, a fire comes down from heaven and takes the animal, like burns the animal, and the Jews see that the Baal, that caused them a lot of trouble. The prophets of the Baal, and the prophets of the Baal ran away. The Jews ran after them, and they, as they say in today's warfare, they neutralized them. And the Jews cried out there. They saw Hashem Hu Elohim. That's what we say on the conclusion of Yom Kippur. We all scream out after the pasuk that the Jew says, Hashem Hu Elohim. God's name is Yud K Vav K. Hashem. We don't say it. We allude to it. Yud K Vav K, and it is the essence of God, that Haya Hoveh V'yeh. He was, is, and will be. That's Yud K Vav K. Because you have the letters from Haya, Hoveh, and Yeh. And that's the transcendent name of God. But God, the way he's in the world, is called Elohim. That's the way that God is in nature. It's the same God. And that's why they scream Hashem, Hu Elohim. He is the God. He makes nature. He's you're supposed to think. When you say Baruch Atah Hashem, when you say God's name, you're supposed to have in mind, who's God? Borei Olam Umanhigo, the creator of the world, and its administrator, its manager, its Mani, the leader. God's involved with the world. He didn't make a world and wind it up and let it go and run away from it. No. But he made the world, and he's involved with it constantly. He's constantly involved with you and me and another 8 billion individuals, bringing them back and forth into life. He's creating and recreating. He's especially involved with the Bnei Israel. It's a generous estimate if I say 16 million Jews in the world. 8 billion people and 16 million Jews. We are less than 1/3 of 1% of the world population. So, but it says that God is particularly involved with the 16 million. He is involved with the 8 billion also. That's God. We can't understand. We should be terribly in awe. I mean, if a person comes to realize God's presence on this world and all worlds and all over this world, enlivening everybody, everything that happens was supposed to happen. Like that's why there's a statement that Kol HaKodesh Ki'ilu Obed Avodah Zorah. Anybody who gets mad when something bad happens to him, somebody does something bad to him economically or socially, shames him, and there's anger happening. If you really believe in God, you know that you were supposed to suffer from that blow, that swindle, and that doesn't give the guy who swindled you or hit you, shamed you. He's got to do his deed was recorded by the God Almighty, and he's got to make good. He's the consequence of what he did to you is going to hurt him big time. If not in this world, in the next world. So he's got to make good with God. Whereas you have to accept and that it was coming to you as some kind of a consequence for something you did wrong, and hold your peace. He'll get his. He had no excuse. Well, this was supposed to happen to you, and therefore I was the one that brought it about. That's a terrible falsehood and a lie. God has many ways to make things happen. You brought it about because you had unbridled hate. You wanted somebody else's. You wanted somebody else. You longed for somebody else's riches, which you're not allowed to do. Make your own riches, but don't long for somebody else's property and wife, as it says in the Ten Commandments. So that is why it is called anybody who gets angry, because he's like he's serving idols, avodah zarah, because it means he doesn't believe that this was predestined for him in terms of his relationship with God. And so he's cutting his relationship, and everything, that we have the matter of tshuva. We have the realization that world that we enter after we leave this world, and that's called the world of consequence. And we want this world. This is the world of action, and people knew how much they could accomplish every minute by learning Torah, saying Tehillim, helping poor people, helping people in a nursing home, doing good deeds, instead of going to entertainment, to luxuries, and feeding the body. Yes, you got to eat to have. You have to have energy, and you got to exercise, and you got to do that. That's not wasted time. But any moment that you have not doing that, working for a living, doing your jobs, okay. But any free time should be b'dibar above. You should speak Torah. How? When? When you sit at home. When you go, when you travel, and when you're in your house or you're out in the street. Well, it's either or. You have to talk Torah. your conversation should be Torah. Discuss something that you study in Chumash and Talmud and Tanya. And we, that not doing so had negative consequences. And so, but that's what we learn in Torah. So, but the karbonos was a way, the offerings and confession had to come with the offering, and saying that I'm sorry that for what I did, I will not do it again, and that to say, and then if you're a wealthy person or you have means, you have to offer a big book. If you don't have means, you can offer a goat. If you don't have, it's too low. You can't afford a goat. You could offer 2 pigeons. And you can't offer that. You could offer some meal, grain. That's a mincha. But you're paying because you sinned. You're told, if you can't afford it, don't sin. But the man has to spend from his wealth and bring a costly offering. That's a board. You know what a board costs today? Anyway, but we're going to learn now on Bay's second reading in the Midrash. It starts off with a in Tehillim, with the 51st Psalm, or 150. This is the 51st one. And David is reciting and saying, Zivrei, that means offering. The Zabachta means it's the slaughtering of the animal. But it's called Zivkei. Korban is called Zivrei, the offerings. Zivrei Elokim, the offering that God likes. God, and again, that's when it's here in this world and operating at nature. Elokim is the gematria, Hateva, nature. Zivrei Elokim, Ruach Nishbara. Greatest Zivrei Elokim is Ruach Nishbara, a broken spirit, means crying. It feels terrible because you sin. A broken heart. Hey, it says in that same capital that after you accomplish that it's killing you. That you did this wrong, and you feel so bad about it. Oh, feeling bad about it. Having therefore Zivki Elokim Ruach Nishbara, a broken spirit, a broken heart. Zivrei Zabdi ben Levi, Rabbi Yossi ben Tartus, Rabbanan. They're all gonna give their insights into the matter. Chad Omar David Lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. David said before God. Hey, David was the one who was the great lover. He loved God the most, and he is He's the one that wrote to kill him. And he was always aware of God. King David said, what's it? Sometimes it's something else, but in the text of the Shmuel, when he becomes king, he's called King David. And Amar David Lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. David talked to God. We also talk to God when we daven, but David felt the presence of God very strongly. And David says, Amar David Lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ani kibashti es yitzri ועשיתי תשובה לפניך. Speaking about the situation that he had with Bathsheba. Now, the way you see in Scripture, he was the wife of Uriah Hachiti. And David saw her once after he came out on the roof. He was on the roof in the palace, and she was on the roof, which was on an upstairs mikveh, and she was purifying herself from her menstrual period. So he saw her, and he took her. But wait a minute, he lived with her. She's a married woman. The Talmud says that David called David Chata, Eino Ella Torah. Anybody that says in this situation of David and Bathsheba that David sinned, he lived with it was adultery. It was not adultery. The Talmud says, David get creatures constantly Easter. There was a law that anybody who went into the army had to give a divorce to his wife. All the soldiers, married soldiers, had to divorce their wives. And all of David's soldiers, that was a Muhammad based on. Why? Because if they would be killed in action and nobody, they went missing. So if they were married to the Jewish soldier, she couldn't get married because nobody could prove that her husband was he was missing. If he's dead or if he's alive, she's still married to him. But she's not, so that's what was accomplished by divorce. No, she's not married to him because he gave her a divorce before he went into battle, before he got drafted. David get creatures because of Lisa. It'd have to be divorce. Then they would come back. They would get married again. And but if it's not too often that happens, but it happens, and it happens in World War II. any in the wars in Israel that we don't do it here. The woman going, the man doesn't give her a divorce. So it's called an aguna. She is she's a woman who can't get married. It called an aguna because we don't know if she is married still, if her husband is alive. If there was witnesses that he was killed, she's not an aguna. She's an albana. She's a widow, and somebody can marry her. But she was missing. He was missing. Then we don't know if he's dead or if he's. So that's why it was became a law that soldiers have to divorce their wives. Bathsheba's husband was a soldier, Uriah Hittite. And so he had to be one of those who divorced his wife. So it wasn't adultery, because she wasn't a married woman. And Titus explains it. First of all, she was very much younger than him. She was just about 8 years old. He was about 55. You know, and she was the wife of David, through whom Mashiach would come. David knew that there was there has to be. David had a lot of wives, but he detected in her the spark of Mashiach, the feminine spark that she had it. His sin was that he jumped the gun. He was in a hurry, but it wasn't a romance type thing. The only way you can bring a human being into this world is the union of man and woman. And he saw her coming out of the mikveh, and he thought that there must be a reason why he could see her. And he knew that he had the spot, Mashiach ben David, that Mashiach is going to come from him. And so he married her. But this is not his mistake. Is that he jumped the gun. It would have happened, and she would have been divorced by Uriah Hittite. Uriah Hittite was a Goliath sword bearer. He was a convert to Jew, but he after David killed Goliath with a stone, Goliath told him, "I'll step on you and you'll be out of this world." He says, "No, my God will help me. Hey, I'm gonna slay you." And what he's slaying with? A pebble, a slingshot that got right between his helmet and the iron thing that was going around his forehead, and but he wanted to chop his head off and show it to the Philistines that he got their man, and they would run away, and the Jews would run after them. But he couldn't. He needed a sword, and the sword of Goliath was locked in a hole in a sheath, and it was an accommodation, and you just have to know how to work it. what was the combination and to get the sword. And this Uriah who later became a ger, a convert, he knew the combination. And so David said, give it to me. He said, if you'll promise that you'll give me a Jewish girl when I convert. And David said, all right, I'll get you a Jewish girl. And just give me the combination. And he gave me the combination, and David got the sword of Goliath, cut off his head, and showed it. When the Jews were on one side and the Philistines were the other side. And when they saw that David killed Goliath, and they showed his head, they fled. And when the Jews saw that they, again, you know the story. I mean, Goliath was taunting the Jews. Do you know why he came out? Christmas, when the Jews were reading Christmas in the morning, and when the Jews were reading Christmas at night, and he would blaspheme God and make fun of God, that who the Jews were saying, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, and he would, but nobody would, he said, set out somebody and I'll battle him. And they didn't have anybody who took the challenge. The guy was a giant. And nobody volunteered. They felt they could fight him and slay him. Till David came around. David heard him cursing God. And he said to King Saul, he brought his brothers were in the army, and he brought them food from the father, and packages. Like the Portion said, he brought them also the certificates that they were divorced from their wives, that they had given the divorce. But anyway, when the Abishur made the nest, David tried to persuade Shaul. Why, he said, I'll take him on. And he said, coming here to see my brothers, and I brought I was attacked by a lion, and I killed him with my bare hand. I was attacked by a bear. I killed him with my bare hand. So I could take on this giant. They were so happy. And sure enough, the giant who had taunted the Jews and blasphemed God in a loud voice. I don't know exactly how they made it louder. Maybe they had a horn they spoke through. Anyway, that's what it says. And he came out just in the times of when the Jews were saying Krishma, and he blasphemed God. And he got his. But everything a person is judged. David did what was wrong that he did in this thing. You're not supposed to tell a non-Jew. He was still a non-Jew, Uriah Hittite, that he'll give him a Jewish girl if I do it. That's only when he's Jewish already. And say, I'll look for a Jewish girl for all, and that's held against David and his cost. But anyway, what is David says over here? Amar David lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. God said before the Holy One, blessed be He. Ani ki vashti es Isri. I conquered my Yetzer Hara, my animal soul, the godly soul and the animal soul. The animal soul is called the Yetzer Hara, and the godly soul is called the Yetzer Tzav. So David says to God that I've done tshuva. Kibashti es Yitzri vasishi tshuva. I did tshuva. That's a key word, tshuva. That's down to this. Tshuva is a mitzvah that we do. We say a bracha on that every single 3 times a day. We doing tshuva for our not being constantly aware of in the presence of God and acting accordingly. We are aware. Hope we are. When we're praying, who are we praying to? We're praying to God. But like the story of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, that one of his wealthiest Hasidim, who traveled the world as a selling his profits. He was a very wealthy man. And after Shmona Esrei in the shul, he was a chassid of Lubavitcher, and the Lubavitcher came over to him and said, Shalom Aleichem, hello, welcome, Shalom Aleichem. When you see a fellow Jew, you say, Shalom Aleichem, somebody who you haven't seen in a long time, or somebody's come back from a journey. So he said, Rebbe, why do you give me Shalom Aleichem? I'm giving you because while you were standing the silent prayer, you in your mind was all the places that you traveled. You were all over on your journeys. When you come back for a journey, you give a person Shalom Aleichem. That was the way to kitzel him to that you're not you're not concentrating, you're not focusing on that. You're talking to God. That's why we always have to do tshuva because we were not fulfilling that which it says, you should love God your God with all your heart, with all mind, and you're with all your soul, with everything that you own. Then these words which I am commanding you today in the Christmas. Well, how are you supposed to deal with the words of Torah? This should be in your heart. And you should teach it to your children. They should speak it. When you're at home, when you're on the way and you're outside of your home. You got to speak Torah. Not everybody acts that way and does that. And therefore, 3 times a day we say before God, forgive us, God. And we say we're going to do it in tshuva. So David is telling God, I did tshuva for my sin. Ani kibashti es Yitzri vasishi tshuva lefonecha, and I have done tshuva before you. Imato mikableni b'tshuva harei ayodea ani sheshlomo b'ni omed. I know if you will accept my tshuva, that my son Solomon Omed will get up Ubayna as Beis Hamidrash. He will build the Holy Temple. David says in one of his kapitlos, he finds a place where I'm sleeping in a palace of gold and silver, and God, so as to say, has no central place. I have to find that was three mitzvahs they were commanded when they went into Israel, the Jews. Minui HaMelech, they had to appoint a king, and ingathering of the exiles, and the building of the temple that comes right after the building of the temple and the ingathering of the exiles. And after that comes the healing, broke lev, making those that hearts are broken over the loss of relatives, dear friends, and we were told that Bnei Yerushalayim Hashem, the Bnei Yerushalayim, they have to build a temple. That's the first thing the Mashiach has to do, the Melech has to do. When they come into Israel, Bnei Yerushalayim, that's Minui HaMelech, when they were commanded that. That was actually the first thing. But afterwards, it's Bnei Yerushalayim, rebuilding Jerusalem and building the temple. And the Mekabes Nitzchei Yisrael, gathering in the exiles. He has to heal. God has to heal the brokenhearted, because with how will the broken hearts be healed when they see their relatives again? And that is a basic belief in Torah. The 13 of the 13 principles of faith, that God will resurrect the we say Mechayim Mesim, and you are believed to make the dead live again. Baruch Atah Hashem, make a bracha on it. Mechayim Mesim. So David is telling God here, if you forgive me, if you accept my tshuva, then I know that my son will build the temple. Now God tells, when, in David's time already, the Jews have been only using the Mishkan. They didn't have a formidable temple. And God told David, you can't build a temple because you spilt a lot of blood. It was a mitzvah for you that you killed the enemies of Israel. But the temple is going to be a place of peace. It has to be built by a man of peace. And it will be built by your son, Shlomo. And that was a great balm, B-A-L-M, on the soul of David and his son. And actually, King David and the prophet Saul worked on the plans for the base of Midrash. So David says to God, David said before the Holy One, blessed be He, in Ani kabashti es yitzri v'asisi tshuva. I confessed I did tshuva, and I stated that I was wrong in what I did. Again, it wasn't adultery, it wasn't murder. She was a divorced woman, and murder meaning that the sins of this situation was that David also killed her husband. But the Gemara says David had the right to kill him because he was a rebel. And a king has right to kill anybody who shows him disrespect. And his disrespect, in a sentence, he placed the commander-in-chief before King David, and he had a greater respect for him than for King David. And King David had him killed. In an honorable way, he had him. He told the general Yoav that they should bring him out to the front, and when the enemy shooting, leave him, he would draw from him, and he had a right to kill him. The Gemara says that a king can kill with a sword, decapitate a person. But he didn't have him decapitated. He had him die like a hero in battle. Anyway, so God promised him that he's not going to build the temple, but his son Solomon is going to build the temple. So he says to God, if you accept my tshuva, God, and wipe my slate clean. You know, I told you that his affair was that he jumped the gun, and it's the way he did it. And the Gemara said he's not guilty of murder or adultery. Kola Omer David Chata, like David sinned. He's making a mistake. They give these two things. She wasn't married, wasn't adultery, because everybody gave a divorce to their wives and they went into war. And David didn't murder. Uriah, he had him killed because he was a rebel, and a king has the right to do it. But it didn't look good. It wasn't. And again, with the, I don't know to what level. It was publicized that people knew about it, but God knew about it, and he told them what punishment that he will have for it. If you accept my tshuva, then I know that Shlomo B'ni Oimed Uboyne Es Beis Hamidrash. I know that you will then keep the promise that my son Shlomo will be Beis Hamidrash, and my sin won't stand in the way, because I did tshuva. And when you receive the powerful messages of tshuva from somebody who is sincerely wrong, sincerely confessing his wrongdoing, and feels bad that he hurt somebody's feelings, or that he hit somebody, or he stole something, And he really feels bad about it. And he realized that it was wrong, that it's against the Torah. Then, no, God accepted his. They're saying here that the biggest korban is not the bullock, not the goat, not the pigeons, not the meal. Zivchei Elokim Ruach Nishbara. The offering that God accepts the most is a broken heart, repenting, feeling bad. Ruach Nishbara. He's a broken man because he did that sin. And then he has to come back and become a happy man because that's a mitzvah that supersedes it. But it doesn't supersede doing tshuva and feeling bad about your behavior. And then after, this is explained by the Alter Rebbe in Tanya, afterwards, Hashmeini Sosum B'Simcha, in the Let Me Hear Joy. Afterwards, after he really conceded that he was wrong, and he feels terrible, and God accepts his tshuva, and he would know how God accepted, if God accepted, but there's no if a person says, he's sorry, it was very bad, and so he's not, he's done tshuva, except somebody who kills somebody, a murderer. Then, if there were witnesses, if he was warned, and people told him, don't do it, and nonetheless, within a period of 3 seconds after the warning, he shoots the guy and kills him. And then they catch him, he gets killed. Tshuva, he did tshuva, he feels terrible. He made the man's wife a widow. He made the man's kids orphans. And now he feels bad when he thinks he did it in a moment of rage. And so he has to be killed. It's corporal punishment. But it's part of his penitence. Being killed, that's part of his tikkun, correction. And there's another world. And then he ranks the other world. If he's done his penitence, he was punished as the consequence of killing another person. And but tshuva, he did tshuva, yes, but this is part of his atonement, and that he has to go through. There was somebody who violated the Shabbos, some others, somebody who violated the Shabbos, somebody who ate a trefa steak, and so he got killed for that. Victim doesn't, but you have to be warned not to do it, and then right away do it. Guy eating has a ham sandwich in his mouth, and somebody comes along and tells him, "Hey, wait! You're eating a ham sandwich. It's not kosher." And so he warns him that you will get skila, whipping, and he doesn't. He eats it within 3 seconds. Then he's culpable. But if there's 4 seconds, if he puts it down, he'll think he can get over. And if he picks it up again, he doesn't get the punishment unless he was warned again. Don't do it. Anyhow, most people got away, didn't get whipping. And always in cases, law cases, the leniency was, not guilty with the verdict because their belief, the strong belief that hey, if he didn't get what's coming to him in this world, he'll get it in the next world. And it's better to get it in this world. Hey, but the good news is you don't have to get it in this world either. And he said that, you can't undo the killing of a person. And that's why getting killed yourself is the penitence for that. But for everything else, a person do tshuva and not do it, change his way of life. And there are so many the Bali tshuva and Gedei Tzedek are proliferating. There are many more Bali tshuva. And I'm sure everybody knows that, about these women who as hostages in the hellholes, and they did tshuva, and prayed to God, and kept Shabbos, and they wouldn't eat uncultured things that were given to them. And we find that by soldiers also. There are a lot of soldiers returning to putting on tefillin and wearing tzitzis. People in Israel are waiting, there's unfortunately a lot of so-called liberals who want to undo the trap. Well, there's a lot of cleavage, a lot of struggle going on between right and left. And Bibi Netanyahu gets a lot of dung in his face by people. And he is sitting on a hot seat. But anyway, we'll get out of this and we're going back to it. Okay. But the biggest tshuva, that's why they bring this down. Zivchei forward, Zivchei Lakim Ruchnibar, offerings to God is a broken spirit, feeling sorry, confessing the sin, and really feeling terrible about it. And then, so they told God, I'll know that you accepted my tshuva for my jumping the gun, for my doing wrong with I didn't consult with you, with your with the prophets, with the kohen. I should take back. I'm wrong. So I did tshuva. And on all levels, I did tshuva. So I know Yodea ni sheshloim b'ni oimet ubayna as Beis Hamikdash. My son Shlomo, when Shlomo took the reins of and David promised it to him and to his mother. His mother was Bathsheba. The first, she became pregnant and lost that kid. And David was very broken by that. But the second kid, was Shlomo HaMelech. And Shlomo HaMelech, when his father died and he took over the kingship, he was just about bar mitzvah. That's how old he was. And when he built the Beis HaMikdash, he was already a little older. But I will know that you, God, forgave me. You were makabel my tshuva. If you'll keep that promise to us, that Shlomo will build the Beis HaMikdash. If you accept my repentance, I know Shlomo Bani Omer Ubona as Beis HaMikdash. Ubona as a Mizbeach, and he'll build the altar on which the sacrifices are often. Umaktir Olam as a karbanos, and he will cause the karbanos to be put on the Mizbeach and burnt. After they were killed, they were burnt. They weren't burnt on the. They were slaughtered, and slaughtering is the most. Jews have a commandment, Tzar Balachayim, not to bring pain to living animals, anything living. Some people don't step on an ant. That's a creation. A rodent that's bringing all kinds of trouble and sicknesses, you're allowed to kill. You're allowed to kill an animal that's dangerous. But just Sheshet, who makes a bracha at the beginning of his slaughtering the animals, and slaughtering in the most humane way. And not like the animals that are taken to be eaten by non-Jews and not kosher restaurants. They're not slaughtered like. Sometimes, if an animal, a cow, is found to be not kosher, it goes to the unkosher part of the slaughtering house, and it's at least slaughter meat, and the person is not eating absolute trade. Anyway, we'll go into that. And so, and that's the way it turned out. But Shlomo Bani, Shlomo, his son, built the Beis HaMikdash. He's the man of peace, and his name Shlomo, the word shalom, peace. So, so he comes. Olam Ezra Karbanos, Shabbat Torah, and this we find this in the pasuk Tivchei Elokim, Ruach Nishbor. The offerings to God is a broken spirit. And another rabbi was called Charana Omer, Menayim Lemishahu Oseh Tshuva. How do we know somebody who does tshuva? Shemalin love Ki'ilu Allah Yerushalayim. He gets credit. He did tshuva. He is looked like in the heavenly court, like someone who went up to Jerusalem, who bought his Beis Hamikdash, that he built the temple. He gets, that's how he's looked at, not that somebody who did tshuva, real tshuva. And again, V'charana Omer, Menayim Lemishu who also said tshuva. Somebody who is doing tshuva and becoming an observant Jew. Shemailin Allah, they is looked at. Ki'ilu Allah Yerushalayim, that he made Aliyah to Jerusalem. Ubana Beis Hamikdash, and he built the Beis Hamikdash. That's, it's just in terms of his credit. He doesn't build the Beis Hamikdash. One is going to build the Beis Hamikdash, Mashiach necessarily. Got to be a prophet. But it's looked at as he. If he did, like he did all these things. Ubana Samizbeach. And it says he built an altar, the altar. Umakri v'lav kol hakabanis v'tayra. It's as if he offered all the offerings that are mentioned in the Torah. Where do we see this from this pasuk? In Adein Kra, from this scriptural passage. Zivchei Elokim Ruach Nishbara. What God really looks at. You have to bring the animals or other birds, the fowl, or in line with what you can afford, and a little offering of meal, which is cost next to nothing, is also true for a person, and he's also looked at like this. They do it with a sincere heart. And so this last rabbi commentator on Midrash brings this, that it's not just that the tshuva is accepted. It's as if he went to Jerusalem and built the temple and built the Mizbeach and offered the offerings. And now, what the Rabbanan are coming along and they're going to say, the Rabbanan Amru, Menayen lo oiver lifnei hateva. How do we know that the one who leads the prayer and goes to the prayer, the Omid, that's called lifnei hateva. Tzorich lahaskir avoda v'karbonis in his prayer, he has to mention the avoidance of the korbanos. Minadain birchasa from this bracha. V'sei Elokeinu, that accept our God. Shebein b'tzion meheira v'yavducha b'necha. That from the bracha that we should go to Zion quickly, and v'avducha b'necha, and your sons will serve you. And the boy Shmaino min Adah Zivchei Elokim, you're praying, and you have to know that the biggest thing in Tshuva is Ruach Tzipora. That's the offering to God. Amar Rabbi Abba Bar Yudan, Kol Ma Shepasla Kodesh Baruch Hu Bebehema Hichsher B'Odom. Anything which makes a animal trait is not trait in a person. Pasal b'hema averes or shavar or charutz, blind animal, broken animal, cut animal, abelis. These are certain animals that are looked at. If they have any blemishes, you can't offer them. But they're trait. But the Yichshur B'Adam, but by man, by animal, a broken heart would make it not kosher to be offered. But by man, Leiv Nishbar V'Nitzka, that's kosher in desired. Amar Rabbi Alexandri, Hedjay Tazeh, this simple person. In Mishamei Shub B'Kelim Shvurim, if he's using broken tools, Kenai Hulo, that's a shame. If he's using broken vessels. Abo HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Klei Tashmisho Shvurim. If a man uses broken tools, it's a shame. He should use proper tools. So it's if a man uses broken tools to get something done, it's a shame that he's used broken tools. Gotta have nice tools. But God uses broken tools, us, men, women. Abo HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Klei Tashmisho Shvurim. Who does he work? Who does he send on the missions? Broken people. Because that's all the people who are broken, who are not conceited, arrogant. He doesn't use for his missions. But the people broken in the heart, I mean, they're considered the good people. The people who are not considered, the people who are not of the high esteem of themselves. People who know the truth, they grow. That's the biggest impetus for growth, is to realize that you're broken. You got to fix yourself. Abo HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but the Holy One, blessed be He, Clay Tashmisho. What does he use? Shvurim, broken ones, Shemar. Korav Hashem, Lenishberei. God is close to the ones who are brokenhearted. That means not they're brokenhearted because God forbid they lost a relative. That's also called shvurim, but not in this case. The people who are brokenhearted because of their sins, because they're not being close to God. They're the ones that God gives missions to. He says, Harope lishvurei lev. God heals the brokenhearted. And I told that to my cardiologist, that God is called the healer of the broken heart. You cardiologists, also you are the healers of broken hearts, putting in pacemakers, using Allah. You're the tools of God, and you got the same title that God has. God heals the broken hearts, and you. Psalm, I told him which Psalm to find that pasuk, Psalm 147. And Vezdaka Ushval Ruach. God uses the Shvurei and those who are lowly in their self-esteem. And being the Psukim Zivchei Elokim Ruach Nishbara. An offering to God is the brokenness of one's heart. That means, doesn't it, sadness is depression. That's not what is meant by broken heart. Means that it's killing him that he did such a thing, which is a sin in not only in God's eyes but in man's eyes. Made a chil Hashem, and that's killing him. And he can run his business. He can do but he does tshuva. This brokenness brings him to repentance, and he becomes a new person. That's what is wanted. And that was being the next verse. Karuv Hashem lenishbrei lev. God is close to those whose hearts are broken. God heals the brokenhearted. God helps them. And then he becomes a happy man because there is such a thing as true. God accepts it. And in ancient times when there was a Midrash and you had to bring offerings, but there was this levels of things that people who have nothing could bring meal offerings, which in virtue of spending pennies. So what we learned here, that first, people misunderstand the translation of korbanos as sacrifices. I think is wrong, because it should be korbanos comes from the word koro. It makes the person closer to God and the animal closer to God. That animal has a soul, also has energy that God gave him to live. And the way that energy, the way that energy can connect with God is by, hey, today we don't have korbanos, but we eat. Today, Gemara says our table is the mizbeah. And if you have steak or you have chicken or whatever they were slaughtered, but they were slaughtered by a kosher shechet. And they're giving you strength. And you can do mitzvahs with that strength. So these animals are getting with the connect with God after they're slaughtered, and they go into a Jew who is doing mitzvahs. The animal is part of the mitzvahs. It gives you the strength. Gives you the strength to daven. And you, if you eat and you have that in mind, I'm eating this to give me strength to serve God. Eat kosher. Everybody should eat kosher. And but what will elevate the animal is your thoughts that I'm eating this to have strength to serve God. And that's how you elevate the animal spirit. Hey, killing animals is no, the chicken is much happier than landed up on your Shabbos table. They'll land up in Kentucky Fried Chicken. Bracha we made with the whole meal and the animals included. And it's very happy that it landed up. Well, what's the statistical probability of millions of chickens that are slaughtered that will end up on a Shabbos meal for people who will make kiddush and hamotzi, and this is part of it. But the thing is, again, we are told that the secret of korbanos, why God desires that. But what he desires even more, and what we learn today, is zivche is called a zevach. A korban is called a zevach. Zevach means something slaughtered, kosher. Zivche Elokim, okay, what God accepts, what God is looking for is your spirit, how you bring the offering. I watched he did a sin, he was convicted, and he's sentenced, there wasn't any jail time. That nothing's accomplished by that. We would only have jail to hold a person. There was such a thing, hold a person till his sentence was passed on him. And if he had to get flogging, there was a doctor, and to determine how many floggings he can get. And hey, that's 39, what did he say?
Lashes.
He had 39 stripes. Is the most. But if he gets that, hey, they had a doctor. What could and again? A guy who he has to be two witnesses that saw him eat this crazy thing, and he ate it and warned him, "Don't eat it, because if you eat it, you're going to get flogging." And he eats it within 3 seconds of the warning. But it's called the Toch K'dei Dibur. The time that it takes you to say, Shalom Aleichem Rabbi Moshe. Peace to you, my rabbi. And your, how long did that take? You want to measure it? That's what he has to do within that time of the warning. The time that it takes to say Shalom Aleichem Rabbi Moshe. And if he does it later and he's not warned, he doesn't get it. He'll get it in the next if he doesn't do tshuva. But this gives him a chance to do tshuva. And he does it very lenient. If you just read it, you think, wow, he's going to be get flogging. He's going to get the death penalty. It was very difficult to get a person corporal punishment, up to the point that it said that a Bezdin, a tribunal that killed a man once in 7 years, and some opinions once in 70 years, is called the murderous Bezdin. So, people had a chance to do tshuva, and the believing people knew that, hey, if they don't do tshuva, the consequence world is awaiting them. So it wasn't that that bringing an animal is going to bring presto, you get forgiven. No, you have to have lev nishbar v'nizkeh. You have to have a ruach zivkei elokim, ruach nishbara. The accepted offering that God accepts is the ruach nishbara, that you have a broken spirit, and you're supposed to sing, there but for the grace of God go I. And the animals, the person has to watch it. And the animal was atoning for him. If he had a ruach nishbara. Okay. The Midrash here brings what most of you know, that when you start learning with kids, 4-year-olds, 5 years old, Chumash, you start with Vayikra, because this pure little souls should learn and start with the korbanos, which is a very pure thing. And I'll read it from Midrash. I have 2 Midrashim that the pure learn from the pure, and the little kids. It says, "Ein ha'olam miskayim ela hebel piyam shel tinokot shel mishrabot." The world only stands on the breath of the little kids who are screaming psukim, sentences from scripture or making brachas. And why? Because they're innocent of a virus. And so that's even higher than the Torah study of the holy rabbis who who have they already not, you can't really call it sin, but the adults have tasted sin. Little kids have never tasted it, and therefore they're pure, and therefore their prayers, their saying psukim. And we just had it in the Purim story that Mordechai takes 22,000 little kids and has them learn Torah, and that God accepts it, the tshuva.
I remember that I learned that, and when there was a war, and the missiles were flying, the Rebbe asked the children to pray.
Yeah, but it was before nobody suspected. It was before the Yom Kippur War, and they were at peace with Egypt, and nobody expected what happened on that in Yom Kippur War, but the Rebbe did. And the whole summer, the Rebbe was saying to us and sending us to his secretaries, run to the children, say psukim with them, give them out money to put into tzedakah, and say with them psukim. And he would accompany it with the statement in the Tehillim that from the mouth of babes and suckling children, you have gathered strength. Mipi olim v'yomkim yisaret ois l'man sorerecha l'hashbir oiv out of the mouth of babes you have established fear against the avengers, those who are after you, your enemies. And that's meaning the babes praying, saying psukim, and their prayer is so much. That's why the Rebbe told us, the Rebbe saw that war coming on the horizon. Nobody else. I mean, they were at truce with Egypt already 6 years since the 6-Day War, and nobody except the Rebbe saw that Sadat was functioning and working to attack as they did in Sinai. And like you said, God told us, run to the children, wherever there are little children, gather them and have them say psukim loud, and give them coins to give to charity. And when right the week before Yom Kippur, the Rebbe said that we should say Avinu Malkeinu. That's the special prayer you say during Aseret Yemei Tshuva, the 10 days of penitence. You say Avinu Malkeinu. Say with the kids, Avinu Malkeinu. And when it happened, the Rebbe said in the Farbrengen, that was just before Sukkot, after the attack. And people asked him, the The Rebbe said there'll be a bigger victory than what we had in the 6-Day War. And I hope they won't sell it for a like what Yaakov gave to Esav, Zira Dashim of beans. And and the Rebbe said that if Kissinger, America said at that time that you got to receive the first blow, and then you can hit back, but you shouldn't be called the aggressor. In the 6-Day War, the Jews won the war in 3 hours. They bombed all the airfields, and Egypt had no air force left. Couldn't bomb Israel. And this time, America said, Kissinger told Golda Meir that you have to receive the first blow. As soon as they heard about it, what's going to happen? They could have preempted. She said to her dying day, she'll regret that she didn't preempt, because Torah says preempt. Torah says, Havol lahorge, hashkev lahorgo. Somebody who's coming to kill you, get to jump on him. And doesn't say kill him, show him that you can kill him. Lahorgo, doesn't say hashkev lahorgo. Get to jump on him and kill him. No. Show him lahorgo. You got the power to kill him. You got to jump on him. And then there was in the 6-Day War there were casualties, but there was under 1,000. There were maybe under 700. But in this first attack in the Yom Kippur War, it was 2,600. And the Rebbe said that if Israel would have preempted, that we not just save the lives of thousands of soldiers, but it would save the lives also of the enemy. And I'll never forget what the Rebbe said. There's no mitzvah in killing a Ben Noach. So we are duty bound by Torah to do everything we can to save lives. And preempting, the Rebbe said, would have saved their lives as well as Jewish lives. They would have would have ended the war a lot sooner. Looked like the 6-Day War was ended because and Arab lives were saved. And then you saw the Jews sent back all the prisoners in the 6-Day War over the canal. They didn't want to even have the prisoners. The U.S. Army highest-ranking generals said there's never been such a humane army as the Israeli army. And all the charges and all the lies that said about the Israeli army. The Israeli army saved the life of the biggest killer that was released in the exchange for the life of one shalit. 1,029 prisoners, terrorists, were exchanged for one Jewish life. and one of them was Merwin, what's the guy, who was the biggest killer on the side of the the terrorists in the Suez, and this his name is slipping my mind now, but this Merwin, he had cancer of the brain. Got the biggest Israeli surgeons while he was in prison to save his life. And he was the biggest, he was the mastermind of the October 7th massacre. Well, they neutralized him also. He didn't survive. He was hiding all the time, and they got him. It's amazing that they got all the leaders of these. And God should help that they should get the hostages out alive. That's the only reason why they haven't bombed the whole of Gaza, because they're afraid of what these people are human. They killed hostages in cold blood. Anyway, let's end with a happy ending. Today was Rebbe's birthday, and that is very meaningful to us. The Rebbe's capital Tehillim is changing today to 124. He would be 120. He would be 123 if he was physically alive. But we continue to say the capital Tehillim of our beloved ones who are in the next world. And I say the capital for my wife of blessed memory constantly. Her capital is 84. That's what is the next birthday. She would be 83 now, and her next birthday she would be 84. But I am confident that we will see her again. Our sages wanted to implant that in our mind, and therefore there is so much said in the prayers, the Shmona Esrei of Shachris, Mincha, Mariv, in the bracha v'demanata l'hakyesh mesim. You are believed to resurrect the dead. And it's dealt with very much in the Talmud, and it's the 13th principle, which is essential in the faith of Jew as the first principle, the belief in God. I want to, it's very interesting, and there are certain things that you do on a birthday. And the Rebbe instructed what to do on a birthday.
What were you saying?
It's funny that there's no birthday cake mentioned in the regimen of the birthday, but there are that you have to make a party, a gathering with friends, and take on and announce what you took on to better yourself, to take out doing better a mitzvah, take out a mitzvah that you haven't been doing, or take on learning that you haven't been. But there's something that is printed, the Rebbe, and was mandated by his father-in-law to make a book, a regimen for the whole year, and even a leap year, to others. That little statements, a thought for the day, and Hasidim read that thought. They live with that thought. It gives them a beat. It's always an upbeat thought, and it's filled with a lot of information. But on the Rebbe's birthday, Yud Aleph, today was Yud Aleph Nissen, and there the Rebbe writes, the Rebbe was the one who his father-in-law told him, make up a thought for the day, a booklet, and give it out to all the Chassidim. And so for this day, Yud Aleph Nissen, the Rebbe says that Yom Haledes, on a person's birthday, our Adam his by date. Person should take a little time on his birthday to go into seclusion and and bring up his recollections of his life, and he should review his life on his birthday, and he should focus and think deeply in things that he's done, and then the Rebbe says, you think about the thoughts of what you've done in your life, and Hatzrichim Tikkun Utshuva, those that have to be your deeds that have to be fixed. If they weren't good, and the attitude is not good, has to be fixed. Hatzrichim Tikkun Utshuva is the word again that's so important. That those things in your life that weren't good in your actions, yourself, that has to be in seclusion. Go to on your birthday, take some time out, take a half an hour, of seclusion, and think about your life and your recollections of what you've done. And Hatzrichim Tikkun Utshuva, those things that you recognize that you did wrong, fix them. And you said you've done, repent. Hatzrichim Tikkun Utshuva, Yashu V'Yisachim, do tshuva and correct them and fix them. And so that's the legacy of the Rebbe. He leaves us, always to improve ourselves. And God can help that we should soon be reunited with the Rebbe. And that will be with the coming of Mashiach. Let's hope that happens. Listen, everybody, look, there's Pesach is coming very soon. Pesach is the first Seder is Saturday night, and we do the day before Pesach is Shabbos, but you can't burn the chumash on Shabbos, so we do that on Friday, and we sell the chumash on Friday. And anybody who wants that we should sell their chumash can call us and give us the power of attorney, and then we'll sell the chumash. But I wish everybody, anybody who doesn't have matzah shvura to eat at the Seder of the special handmade matzahs, let us know, and we'll get some brown matzahs to you. Let me wish everybody here Chag Kosher B'Sameach, a kosher and happy Passover. A very Shabbat again. Now it's 3 days. It'll be Shabbat, the day before Pesach. Sunday is the first day of Pesach. Monday is the second day of the holiday that you have to. You can't do work. Now we have a full slate. The whole week you can't do work until the next Shabbos, which is the Shvi Shel Pesach, which is, and Sunday again are holy days, and you can't work, but you have Chol HaMoed, when you can do. You can go to your job, you can work, you can fix, you can do things. You just have to watch out not to eat chametz.
Rabbi Feller,
Yeah,
for our next Shiur, this would be on Thursday night at 9 o'clock again.
I think I got, it might be. I have to talk it over with my son. It might be. Well, we'll make we'll do it again. We might have a for brain in Lubavitcher's house that night, but that won't. We'll still have the Shiur at 9 o'clock next Thursday night.
Very good.
And if there's a brain that will be made, it will be made known, but it will be independent of the Shiur. We'll have the Shiur at 9 o'clock. Shiur is very important, I feel, and I'm trying to improve my presentation of the Midrash. Like I said all the time, I'm the biggest winner, because I would never know this essential part of Torah as a Midrash if I wouldn't learn it together with you and prepare it as best I can. So let me wish you all a very happy and kosher Pesach, and we'll keep in touch. And anybody who doesn't have matzah shmura, that going to make a seder, again, the matzah has to be eaten after dark, whatever time you make the seder. But matzahs to fulfill the mitzvahs, it says in the Torah, be'erev tochlu matzahs. At night you should eat the matzahs. Okay? So we have to, daylight saving time is not good for us. Starting a seder at 9:15. Most of the people are done with their seders by 9:15. So I tell people, just eat the matzah after dark, after 9:15. Whatever time you make your dinner and your seder, but at least eat the matzah. That's the core mitzvah of the seder, was eating the matzah and the korban pesach. Well, we don't have a korban pesach now, but we have matzah and water, and that should be eaten after dark. But matzahs especially, because it says be'erev, at night you should eat the matzahs. So who have we had on? Like we have. I wonder what happened to Dorfman. He hasn't come on. We have Dr. Shiur, we have Jonathan Beirut, we have Moshe Lipschitz.
Berke is on.
Berke is on?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
You have anything you'd like to tell us, Berke? Are you sleeping?
I'm trying to sleep, yes, but I'm also listening.
Okay, anyhow, so you're driving back, yeah? We'll see you tomorrow, Mr. Shem.
I'm driving back tomorrow night.
Keep me as Hashem and should
Mitzvah Hashem, yeah, Mitzvah Hashem.
make sure and derech telecha.
Sorry?
You should have a Nisiya Kishura, a good journey,
Amen.
successful way. Don't let us disturb you, and I'm glad you're on and heard some of this year.
Amen, amen, amen. Come out and same to you.
Today,
I'm sorry?
I saw your son-in-law at the shul
Oh,
today.
must be Jewish if he's going to shul, Baruch Hashem.
You brought him up well. Where's Leon tonight?
I'm sorry?
I'll ask Jonathan or Michael. Where's Leon? He's usually gets up. But okay. Anyway, this year is worthwhile as far as I'm concerned for even one participant. We have 5 participants, 6. So,
Six.
it says in the Talmud says, Ner le'echad, ner le'meya. A candle that lights for one can make light for 100 also. But for one, it's also good. So let me wish you all a good Shabbos, which is not tomorrow, it's the next day. But it's the day before Pesach, so that's when you sell the chametz. That's when you burn the chametz, because you can't burn it on Shabbos.
Thank you for the good learning tonight, Rabbi.
You're very welcome. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, everybody, for participating. Jonathan, Michael, and Joe.
Yeah, Joe is what I mean. I gotta call him. Yeah. I don't think Joe was Joel here tonight.
No.
Yes, Joel's on.
Yeah, he's on. Yeah.
Okay. All the best.
Well, cool too. I know.
Amen, amen. Same to you. Thank you, Rabbi Feller.
Chag kosher v'sameach.
Amen. Mm.